The first thing to say if you want to improve your grammar is probably just that you should be reading more. So read things that you trust, reliable sources, newspapers, reliable news outlets, people who you know are going to be following the rules of grammar effectively. Read their work and also analyse it a bit. Think about how they've constructed sentences, look at how they've used punctuation. Because the more you can absorb good, grammatically written text, the more likely you'll just produce it without even having to think about it. But if you're working on your own writing and you want to improve grammar, you can use tools. Simple one is the Microsoft Grammar tool. And that's really useful because not only does it correct you when it thinks you've made something, written something inappropriate, it also tells you what the reason why it's done that. So you learn not just by the corrections, but by reading what that tool is giving back to you. And then lastly, you can use reference books to look things up. And this is something that professional editors do. They don't always have the answers, even though this is their job, because some grammatical things are very nuanced or very complicated. And so they use reference books like the Chicago Manual of Style to look things up and use that as a consistent source so that they always get their grammar correct. I think the more you do what I'd like to call mindful writing, and the more you write and think about it and look back at what you've written and consider whether you've got it right and kind of get feedback from other people, the more you'll learn what you yourself quite often get wrong. And we all have sort of bad habits in writing, but if you're aware of them, then you can take steps to improve them. So for instance, I used to have a complete mental block about apostrophes and whether there's an apostrophe with it is becoming its or not. And so if you're in a situation like that where you're always getting it wrong or you're always just unsure, then just write on a post-it the correct grammar rule and the explanation and stick it by your computer monitor or by your keyboard. And then you've always got an aide-memoire to kind of remind you. And at some point that will sink in and you won't need that post-it anymore. But for a while you might need to do that just so that you don't have to kind of run off and find a reference book or do a Google search. You can just have it there. The other thing to say though is that although it's really important to follow the rules of grammar, it's also really important that your writing actually works and is effective, that you've communicated the message you want to. So while you should spend time thinking about grammar and trying to get your writing as sort of perfect in grammar terms as possible, you should also be thinking about, has my message actually got to the person it was supposed to get to? Did they understand what I was trying to say? And did they do what I wanted them to do? So really evaluate the impact of your writing as well as the kind of quality of it.